The internet is a sprawling universe, bigger than anyone ever imagined it would become. It is a source of good that has changed the lives of people all around the world. And just as there are puzzles in the real world, there are also weird cyber mysteries that lie in wait in the dark corners of the net. Is it possible that the internet is used as a tool to recruit cult members, or a message portal for extraterrestrial beings? Is it possible that a website can be cursed? Well, here are 5 disturbing internet mysteries that we can all try and solve together. Now, if you've stumbled upon our trove of videos here at Top 5s, it's probably not your first foray into true crime and occult content. The universe contains unlimited unresolved mysteries, but finding the most interesting can be tricky. So many streaming services are stuffed with the same murdered and missing person cases you've heard of 100 times over. Luckily, there's a new hub for true crime fanatics called Magellan TV, proud sponsors of today's video. A new kind of service that features additional fascinating topics and puts those old issues to rest. Magellan TV is a membership-based streaming platform created by a team of filmmakers who put first the genuine passion of true crime diehards. Their service includes an incomparable library of crime-centric titles never before seen on any other streaming platform, including giants such as Netflix and HBO. And if you need a break from a true crime binge, Magellan TV also offers films and series based on subjects such as art and culture, space and ancient history. Not only that, but they also add new programs and additional ad-free content every week, so you can discover new unresolved mysteries every time you load the service, from whatever device you'd like to stream on, using their flexible device compatibilities. One series that captured our attention was Cosmic Journeys, a 6-part show diving into galactic mysteries, such as black holes, space travel, and the death of planets. It's the perfect form of investigative science, going beyond Earth to solve mysteries, an important mission for Top 5s and Access Astronomy. If you sign up today, you'll receive a free 1-month trial by clicking on the link in the description below. So enough waiting, go and explore those unresolved mysteries that have yet to be discovered. Then hit those lights, sit back, and enjoy. Kanye Quest. A Japanese role-playing game, or JRPG game, came out in 2013. The homepage states that the game is non-profit making and is unofficial, having not been endorsed or sponsored by any celebrity. The premise of the game is that whilst Kanye is taking out his household refuge, he is somehow sucked into a wormhole and travels into the future, to the year 2030, where a dystopian United States is being ruled by a clone of Lil B, who is claimed to be a god. It has been prophesied that Kanye would come to defeat Lil B, with the help of other rappers such as Tupac, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. Kanye has turn-based rap battles, with other musicians who challenge them on their journey. Once Kanye has defeated Lil B, he can return to his own time, declaring himself the one true based god, and take out the refuse. The fun and hilarious game soon became very popular, but could it have been a front for the cult, Ascensionism? In early 2015, one user made an online post in which they claimed that they had found proof of just this. Early on in the game, a terminal that Kanye is able to interact with displayed the message, "Ascend and worship the based god." Later in the game, one of the characters asks you what you want to do. At this point, you can type in anything you like, and the character will agree that she wants that too. But if you type in the word ascend, the screen becomes white and the player transforms into a butterfly, inside some sort of hovering space pyramid. The game then tells the player that they will be taught something beneficial, but only if they agree to never share the information with anyone else. The player has to reach the top of the pyramid by finding passwords for each of the on-screen computers in the room. These passwords can only be found by digging into the game's code. Once the player has reached the top of the pyramid, they must then send off their personal information and agree to allow unknown beings to continue testing them. So could the Kanye West game have been a recruitment tool for the Ascensionism cult? Ascensionism is a new age religion. Followers believe that a being is made of 2 spirits, a body and a soul. They are constantly reincarnated until they reach the point where, on judging themselves after death, they can deem themselves to be adequately worthy. Then they can destroy themselves and become an ancient essence from which other new souls can form. Ascensionists also think that all the bad things that happen to a person are because their own soul has prearranged it as a form of spiritual growth. They also believe that cloning splits the soul, and that an alliance of immortal and ancient clones has infiltrated the highest levels of world governments, which would tie in with the evil clone rappers that appear during the Kanye Quest game. It seems that Ascensionism really does exist. There are online articles referring to the religion. They have a Twitter page with links to a radio station, and the cult has its own record label. So it could really be that Kanye Quest was made by this new cult in order to convert people to their religion using pop culture, and they have left clues all over the internet as some sort of test. Or is the whole thing part of a complex ARG? Maybe it was the developers who actually made the post about the Ascend screen because no one had discovered it, and they planted all of the other online stuff to make the cult look legit. Either way, both ideas seem as insane as one another. And how many other games are out there that are hiding their own weird endings? Internet black holes. In outer space, a black hole is a mysterious place that draws in everything around it, matter, radiation, and even light. It all just disappears to a place that no one can yet comprehend. These places exist on the internet as well, and have been there since its inception. It's happened to all of us one time or another. Your email seems to have disappeared off into cyberspace. You've definitely sent it, but it just hasn't appeared at the other end, or that web page that you want to simply visit will not load. Often it can be down to user error, but sometimes it has just vanished into thin air. There have been reports of emails being missing for several years before finally appearing in the recipient's box, and one victim to the experience reported that he sent an email in 2001 and eventually received a mailer daemon for it in 2014. Where was the email stuck for 13 years before the failure notice was sent? Engineers call this loss of data the black hole phenomenon. It seems that information not being sent to the intended receiver, being permanently deleted, or ending up in some unspecified location happens more often than you think. Some scientists believe that everything that happens on the internet happens for a reason. So what if several of these black holes didn't delete your information at all, but rather diverted it to a third-party IP address? This could of course be just an innocent glitch, but there could also be a more sinister reason. There is potential here for a security breach, because these third parties can see whatever you have sent. The personal details and financial records of millions of innocent people could be at risk. Even more scary is the thought that the secrets of the world's government agencies could also be vulnerable, and have been. Could some of these black holes belong to dark web organizations or even terrorist groups who are collecting information? One scientist has made a study of what kind of data has been diverted as a way to learn about what could be causing the problem. He thinks that there is a disproportionate amount of political content going missing, too much for it to just be a coincidence, and that black holes are a cover for illegal activity. Students at the University of Washington dismiss this as a coincidence and think that the problem is something technical or mechanical. They believe that the problem is too complex for simple foul play. Perhaps one day, if there really are people diverting the data, they will come forward and confess. Whether they are caused by a criminal act or simply a phenomena, internet black holes continue to be a huge puzzle because there is such a lack of knowledge, a topic we think deserves its own video. HeavenlyAngels.org. HeavenlyAngels.org was originally made in the Czech language, and the viewer is encouraged to go to the original website and have it translated by Google for the full range of quality information. The site is huge, with over 7,000 pages of text and books, and 5,000 pictures and articles to download. The homepage is a psychedelic rainbow of colours, banners and links to many other pictures and websites, all explaining the teachings of the cosmic people. On the right hand side of the page, a large picture of Asta Shuren is prominently displayed. Asta Shuren is an extraterrestrial being who was first channeled by the ufologist George Washington Van Tassel in 1952. Ashta was supposedly born 20,000 years ago on the planet Erra, but has been incarnated into a physical presence. He is the leader of the Ashta Command and is responsible for all of the Grand Cosmic Squadron. He can supposedly communicate with mankind with the use of telepathy, He wants to help us stop destroying ourselves with the application of love and wisdom. Ashtar is said to be Scandinavian in appearance. He is quite tall, about 6 feet 5 inches, and has long blonde hair and blue eyes. He dresses in long white robes and sometimes wears a cloak. He is supposedly responsible for a part of the universe that the cosmic people call the Fourth Sector, and is in constant contact with Jesus Christ as well as the God of everyone. The website boasts that 200,000 people from 100,000 cities and villages over 194 countries download 20 million files from it every month, and it offers an emergency plan for evacuation of Earth when the time is right. There are warnings that the use of RFID tags, these spy chips, are already embedded into consumer goods and can potentially be used to track people. The website states that the chips are used by the Saurians from Hals, who want to enslave people and are much worse than Hitler. They want to microchip everyone and create a new world order, a one-world government and religion under their complete control. The loving angels of heavens claim that their spaceships are above us now and that they want a plan of cooperation between heaven and earth to help us evade a physical invasion from the dark worlds. The angels want to appear before humans, but cannot do this until a majority of people want to meet them. According to them, this is why it's so important to spread the message. One page shows a diagram of the mothership of the Grand Cosmic Squadron. The spaceship has 12 levels with elevators to connect them all. There are rooms for interdimensional visits, concert halls and a chamber that stores recordings of planet Earth. There is also a recreational area with parks and forests, and parking areas for smaller ships. The website displays messages such as "Don't get chipped" and "Angels and starships." There is even an "I have an angelic dream" prayer, where the words of the civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. are changed to meet the agenda of the angels. The angels hope that the children of Earth will one day live on this planet, where they will not be judged by their position and role, but by the content of their character. The site claims that we should live in happiness, health and spiritual love, and all sing together for 2 hours every day. In the end, they state that the world will be destroyed by catastrophes, and only the believers who have their fourth heart chakras open will transvibrate to the upper dimension. The true question is, who is behind this website? There are thousands of pages and lots of detail, and someone must be spending many hours a day doing this. But the question is who and why? The Smiling Dog. It's an internet legend that we mentioned many years ago, a strange and disturbing photograph that has become synonymous with curses and madness. The origin of the photo goes all the way back to the start of the internet and the form of Usenet. Usenet was an early discussion site and was popular in the 1990s, and the photo just appeared there one day with no description, no explanation as to why it had been posted, and no links to who had posted it. It was just titled smile.jpg. The image was of a dark room and a husky dog, with human-like teeth wearing an unsettling grin. In the corner of the picture, a spectral red hand waits, reaching out as though trying to pull the viewer in. No surprise then that a disturbing backstory began to emerge around the image almost straight away. The most well known is that of an aspiring writer who visits an old lady. She is offered to give him some ideas for a new horror novel. When the writer arrived at her house, the woman was ranting about a smiling dog image that she had seen on a floppy disk. She was nearly half mad and raved about the vivid nightmares that had plagued her since she saw the image. She gave the writer the disk and asked him to destroy it. The old lady later committed suicide because the visions would not go away. The original photo is said to have been lost, and there are only recreations and fakes left, although there are tales of its effects. In 2002, a hacker infiltrated the satire website Something Awful and posted the photograph. It's reported that there was a mass epidemic of intense and uncontrollable epileptic seizures among those who saw the smiling dog. Other accounts state that the image caused a slow creeping of insanity for anyone unfortunate enough to see it. The viewer would be besieged with violent nightmares and hallucinations, and the image would worm its way into their waking thoughts until it had become an obsession and drove them insane. It's also claimed that many of the Usenet users who saw it believed it was a demon rather than a dog, and committed suicide just to end the torment of their visions. It has been said that viewers of the image are mysteriously compelled to show it to others so that the curse will be passed on. Many people say that the image is still out there on the net, Some even claim to have seen it and become victims of its hellish power. The image you're about to see is a very close representation of the original. The Time Cube. In 1997, a strange webpage appeared. It was created by a former electrician named Gene Ray. The page was garish and disorganized, with a long central column of script. There were several random changes in font colors and sizes, bizarre diagrams, and haphazard capitalization. Amid all of this extensive scroll of text was a claim from Ray, who calls himself the Doctor of Cubism, that he had found the theory of everything. A new concept of space and time, which he called Time Cube, declaring that everything taught to us about modern physics is a lie and part of a conspiracy to hide the truth of our universe. The webpage opened with the statement that in 1884 people met in Washington to change Earth time. They agreed that one day could be used on Earth to not change the one-day marshmallow, and the other 3 days. Ray goes on to say that marshmallow time is wrong, and no man on Earth has no belly button. It seems that the basis for the self-proclaimed wisest human theory is that our concept of time is wrong, and Greenwich Mean Time is a worldwide conspiracy. Ray's belief is that time is cubic. This means that the two halves of the Earth are not fixed, but are metaphysical spheres that revolve independently of one another. They therefore cancel each other out as diametrically opposite points. Ray states that nothing can exist without an exact opposite. This results in 4 24-hour days taking place during what we now perceive to be one normal 24-hour day. He calls this nature harmonic simultaneous 4-day time cube, the 4 corners of the day being midnight, 6 AM, midday, and 6 PM, which together make a unique collaboration, with the time-space continuum divided into 4 classes known as cubic time. Ray deems the number 4 to be the ultimate number in the universe, so the number occurs quite frequently and can be related to many things such as the 4 ages of man being baby, child, parent and grandparent, the 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn and winter, or even the 4 corners of a human head, being the back, face and 2 ears. Ray also discusses the importance of antipodes a lot, claiming that although everything has a polar opposite, the two things are in a continuous state of flux. Ray says the so-called scientists and academics of the world are actually the educated stupid, who are most dumb, and anyone who does not believe in his theory is a part of the conspiracy. Anything that does not have an opposite and is a unique entity is repulsive to Ray, including God, whose name he uses 119 times on the page. Sadly, there are also several pretty nasty anti-Semitic, homophobic and racist comments amongst all this rambling text. The site has been pondered over for decades. People are still trying to make sense of it all by going over archived pieces of text and screenshots. Consequently, Time Cube has become an internet legend in the process. So was the webpage some sort of bizarre joke, a surreal art project, or maybe the rantings of a mentally ill man? Ray does write about a psychiatrist examining his behaviour and judging him to be schizophrenic at one point on the page. Whatever is the case, Ray died in 2015 at the age of 87. His death took with him any chance we had of ever finding out. So that's it for these 5 disturbing internet mysteries. We'd love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.